Welcome to episode 12 on how to create a Terminator effect. And this is where we left off last time. So we have a point cloud inside of Nuke of the face that you are going to work on. And now we want to take this and move it outside of Nuke. So let's jump into it. But first I will start this screen recording. Okay, so to export geometry we use the right geo node. So press tab and type right, and then we have right geo. And connect this to our point cloud. And double click on the right geo, and then select the file name, and I'm going to call this dense points or points dense. .abc for an alembic file. And then I'm going to select, I like the Ogawa format better, so I will select Ogawa and then execute. And let's export only frame 57. So OK here. So now we have the point cloud exported, and we also want this as a geometry, so as a mesh. So how to create a mesh from the points is to use a Poisson mesh node. So let's again press tab and then type mesh and then select Poisson mesh. Now we should already have it, so I will select that node, press 1, and now we can see the mesh in the viewport. So it's not the most pretty thing, but it will do its purpose. So let's export this as well. So I type tab and right geo and connect this to the Poisson mesh node. Double click on geo, and here I will select the file. And for this I will call this mesh.obj for an obj file. And press execute to export. And also this time frame 57. Okay. Then let me introduce Houdini quickly. So if you don't have Houdini already, then you can download Houdini from the side effects homepage. And you can check this out yourself. You just go here and go to products, Houdini overview. And here you can read all about Houdini and try for free, or subscribe or buy, or what you like. So let's jump into Houdini. So here is a blank Houdini screen. So on the left side I have the viewport, and on the right side the node editor. So I'm going to create, everything is node based just as in Nuke, so we start to create a node here for the geometry, and this is in the object context. So I press tab and type geo for geometry and then select geometry, and now we have an empty geometry, and we can rename this to say face. Okay, and then go select and press I to go inside this node. So now we are inside this face geometry, and here we want to load. So we press tab and type file, and the first file will be the point cloud. So I will call this point cloud, so we know what we're doing. And select the node and press P to edit the parameters. And here we have the geometry file, and go to this icon and select our points dense and accept. So now we have our dense point cloud inside of Houdini. You can open and close this with P. So the next step here is that we don't have any colors, and we want to have the colors that we had in Nuke. So the first thing to do with an Alembic file is to unpack it. So press tab and type unpack. And then connect this one to the point cloud. And then press on the right side to display this in the viewport. And we don't see any difference yet. So to see what is going on, we have to go to the geometry spreadsheet. And here we can see all our points and ID. And here we can see in the details that we have an array called color that is containing a lot of values. And these are red, green, blue, red, green, blue. So we have to grab these values and put these into the points. So let's create a new node. So I press tab and type wrangle. And here we have attribute wrangle. And this allows us to manipulate data using a C-like language called VFX. So I connect the unpack to the first input, select this display on the right side, and press P to edit. And here we have a text field where we can edit our code. So you see we have colors here in the detail attribute. So I'm going to grab this array. So this is a float array. And I call this the color and array equals detail. And the first attribute for detail, the first parameter here is the input number. So this is input number 0. We start with 0, 1, 2, 3. And next we have the attribute name, which is color. So I type here color. And next is the component. So we only have one component. So this is a 0 to get the first component. In case we had a vector, then we would have 0 for x, 1 for y, and 2 for z. But we only need the first component. And then end with a semicolon. And if you press this, then we can update and see if there's any error. So this is fine. And the next step here now is to grab this color value, red, green, and blue, from this color array. So I say here float red r equals color, and this is the first we need to know what points are we using. So we have the point number is an @ptnum that stands for point number, and this we will multiply by 3, which is the stride, because we have red, green, blue, 3 each. And then I will just add 0 for the red value. And that should put the red for this point. And we do this similar thing with the green and blue. So I copy this, and here I will paste, oops. So I will here add 1 for the green value, and do this again, and 2 for the blue values, oops, 2. And here I will call it red, green, and blue. And then we are going to put this into the color attribute of the point, because we are run over points, means that we run this code for each point. So I say here at color equal, and then I will set, that is a set of 3 values, so I will say red, green, blue. This attribute is actually called CD, a big C and a small d. And Houdini should know this is a vector 3. So let's try this now. And next we will load the mesh that we made. So this is similarly done with tab, file, and there we go. And I will call this the mesh. And then select this as output, press P, and select the file, the mesh, and look at the scene view. And here we have the mesh. It looks quite messy, but we are going to clean this up in ZBrush later. And we don't have any colors in this mesh, so we have to transfer the colors from the points onto this mesh. So go back to the node graph, and here we are going to do a lens attribute transfer. And on the left side is the mesh, so I'm just going to reorder, so I have the mesh on the left, so it's easy to see. And here connect the mesh to the left side and our points to the right side. And press P and select here that these are points. Should be fine anyway, but just in case. And let's set a display flag and look at the scene view. And now we can see that we have colors on the mesh, actually on the mesh points. And I think that's enough for this episode. It was a little bit fast because I don't want to keep the episode too long and there was a lot to do. So see you again in episode number 13, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you.